Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Mount Vernon City Council meeting for April 10th, 2024 to order. The time is now 7:02. Would you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item C on the agenda tonight is the roll call of council members. I'll ask our city clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Beaton.
Is excused tonight.
Councilmember Brocksmith.
Here.
Councilmember Correas.
Here.
Councilmember Hudson.
Here.
Councilmember Molinar.
Here.
Councilmember Tesoro.
Here.
Councilmember Vanderstoop.
Here.
Thank you, Becky. The adoption of tonight's council meeting agenda. Council, would you like to adopt the agenda that's before us tonight? I would
So
entertain a
moved.
motion.
Second.
Motion by Navor and a second by Yedis. All those in favor of approving the agenda for tonight, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. All right. Item 3 tonight is community comments. If anyone is present in council chambers here tonight that would like to address council, please step forward to the podium and state your name and city of residence and limit your comments to 3 to 5 minutes if you would, please. Anyone here for community comments?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, and staff. I'm Marion Myers of Mount Vernon Cedar Heights, which contains a stormwater facility system of a storm pond and a grassy biofiltration swale. These Department of Ecology as-built facilities were approved by City Council in 2007, on file with the city, located on easements on HOA private property. They are public DOE regional facilities maintained by the city. However, the city-maintained swale with its access berm is severely neglected, as Public Works has never mowed them since 2011. It has been brought up, several statements by Public Works, and my husband and I had big pictures last time. And the last one I didn't get to was the as-built drawings. I don't have the big ones tonight, but the last page we didn't get to, this one was where page 1 said it was a proposed biofiltration swale in the legend. And then there are pages which show side views of the proposed biofiltration swale, a detail of the biofiltration swale. You guys have gotten design packets of these like twice. And then there are even more pages with side views of the biofiltration swale where it comes out at the ends of streets. Another page with a drawing. What I wanted to get to was the back page 9 has a drawing of where it comes out from the far south end, which is the top, and it comes down. It says, armor the swale with quarry spall as specified where slope exceeds 5%. A comment was made that it could not handle, the bioswale could not handle the water because it would be going too fast. You're supposed to have, and it did. I didn't bring the big picture, but we had quarry spall there at the top that went down. The rest of the slope is about 2%. You don't want any less than that or it won't go, but it's 2%. And as far as the grass, it was said that it could not, it would erode. And the DOE says, seeding reduces erosion by stabilizing exposed soils. A well-established vegetative cover is one of the most effective methods of reducing erosion. That's what it is. And another statement has been made that the biofiltration swale is not necessary. The DOE says that every, I got it here somewhere. All impervious surfaces must be treated, like from the runoff from all of our developments. Like I said, there are 4 developments being served by this. It's a regional one. And all of this water runoff, regional stormwater, is 545 homes, 110 acres. And right now, none of it is receiving the biofiltration swale pollution control that it was. Right now, it is just water running through the eroded stream. You have to have biofiltration for the storm runoff. Another comment was made that the design could never have taken it before. And I don't know how many biofiltration swales the Public Works engineers have designed, but ours was designed by Ravnick and Associates, and the DOE has stormwater management manual, volume 5, runoff treatment, best management practices, and it is, wrong one. Ha! It contains pages 845 to 870. There are 25 pages of design calculations and criteria to go through to design a biofiltration swale with all the math. You figure in the stormwater flow, the slope, everything else. So it's not just a ditch. It was never just a ditch. It had to be designed, it had to be constructed. It is not a ditch. And another comment never mind. So, thank you. How did I do tonight?
Brilliantly. That was just under 5 minutes, like you had an internal timer.
I'll be back.
Thanks, Mary.
Maybe in a year we'll get there.
Thank you. Any other community comments this evening? Okay. We'll move on to item number 4, the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda includes council meeting minutes, payroll checks, wire transfers, claims, and previously budgeted agreement renewals. Would council like to move for adoption of the consent agenda tonight?
I'll move for the approval of our consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mary and a second by Navor. Any discussion on that? Okay. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. All right, the motion's approved. On to reports. We have our Public Works and Library Committee report from Councilmember Gary Molinar. Gary.
Thank you, Mayor. We opened up the meeting tonight at 6 o'clock, and after the approval of the March 13 minutes, our library director, Isaac Huffman, gave us an update. Things are coming along really well. They are currently looking at a August ribbon cutting, and most of the transition will probably be in June from the old library to the new one, so there might be some interruptions. But the interior and exterior construction has progressed nicely over the last month, with storefronts and siding nearly complete. Up next is the northeast stair tower. Then he gave us some updates about alternative services at the library. One of the things that people probably don't know, it's not just all going on in the library building. They actually do nursing home visits, child care service centers, teen centers, and they actually even do some different things with the juvenile detention. He gave us an update on programming and an update on safety, security, and privacy towards the service agency code of conduct. We're gonna try to streamline some of those with, like, the transit center and the library, so that people that are having issues with this are gonna get the same code of conduct expected in other areas of our city. Then we moved on to Public Works. Blaine Chesterfield gave us an update on the status of the gravel mine along State Route 9. Skagit aggregates will change from active gravel mining into reclamation over the next year. This agreement expires in May of 2025 and can be extended till the year 2030. The city's consultant, David Evans and Associates, is working on the 30% design for Carpenter Creek and Hickox Road fish passage improvement project. That'll be a great one. The proposed sub-award agreement with Skagit Fisheries Enhancer Group will allow the city to pay for most of the design work with a Washington State Recreation and Conservation Barrier Removal Board grant. So that should be happening pretty quick, hopefully. And he also gave us an update on the status of the city's 7 other fish barriers, culverts. 2 of those culverts are currently in the design process. The 2023 Stormwater Municipal Permit Annual Report was submitted on March 29th. Later this year, Ecology will respond to the report by indicating if they considered it complete. Then Chris Phillips, our director, talked about sidewalk replacement program. Quite a few of those going on. He will give us an update in April, May, and June as those sidewalks are being replaced. General facilities, police court campus rooftop unit installation update. He gave those, that was dealing with some of the HVAC and different stuff on top of our roofs. Then talked about a garage project, influent header project, and a Novato pilot study. Those were all spotlights update for wastewater treatment plant. And then we also had just a little bit of good for the order. Kevin gave us an update on body cameras in police, and I think that was about it. So we closed the meeting at 6:59.
Just in time. Thanks, Gary.
Barely in time.
Looks like next up is our Public Safety Committee report, and Councilmember Mary Hudson's gonna cover this one, since Committee Chair Melissa Beaton is excused this evening. Mary?
Thank you, Mayor. We met last Wednesday, I almost said Saturday, in this chamber. The first person up for our discussion was Fire Marshal Barry Kurth. He talked to us about new fire protection systems compliance software. The new software will integrate with our current inspection platform and improve customer service. He also said that costs have gone down a little bit because everything's becoming more standardized, which is always a nice thing. Next up was Chief Bryce. He gave us an update on Fire Station 2. He showed us some pictures of where we are in construction, so it's always nice to see things moving forward. But we are gonna have a little bit of a cost overrun, only because Fire Station 3 took longer than we anticipated with some issues we had to deal with, so this stretches out the whole project of, we were doing Fire 2 and Fire 3, and wanted to try to complete by March 2024, but obviously that's not gonna happen, so we have, like I said, a cost overrun, and he gave us some ideas on how we can cover that cost out of the current budget, so no extra money will need to be appropriated from the general fund. And there was a good discussion with council, so we will be talking about that some more. Next up was our police, Lieutenant Shackleton and Sergeant Cohen gave us some information about graffiti response. I'll give you a little history on graffiti response. This was a really interesting presentation, and it was a lot of information, so I'm going to just kind of encapsulate it a little bit. In 2009, graffiti response was done by church volunteers. Then in 2010, it moved on to partnering with the juvenile detention and the Parks Department on Saturday work crews. That went on for a while, but in 2020, COVID kind of put it off because of COVID, and we also lost some of our park staff. So starting in 2023, our COPP just had 12 members who said they would come out and do some graffiti removal. So starting in 2023, they have over 57 hours dedicated to graffiti removal, these 12 members. Since the beginning of this year, they've removed approximately 30 different graffiti sites, which is impressive for sure. Mount Vernon Police Department has received 15 gallons of donated paint from local businesses and 20 gallons from the Department of Transportation. We're very thankful for their participation and helping us in this. We're excited to, I'm going to steal a little thunder, we're excited to have a great group of our COPP volunteers with us tonight that we're going to talk about and show their faces to everybody so you know who these wonderful people are. Let's see, what else? We also have just a little bit of information. We have a GIS system where the police and COPP can map areas where there is graffiti and they need a response. So it really helps just to keep everything on the forefront and information in front of everybody. Let's see. They've also worked with different groups and schools to have murals created that are placed in areas where maybe we had some graffiti issues before, but there seems to be a sense of place, if you will, when murals are put up in those areas. They don't tend to get attacked and graffitied over. So it's a really nice addition to our city. And if you drive around, you see these murals, you'll understand what the purpose of them is for. So we're really excited about this program and delighted that we have such a good response to trying to take care of this issue in our city. Last up, we had a brief notice from our city attorney, I don't know what the right word is, but about public records requests are related to charges for body worn cameras, public records requests related to that. So we talked about that last, and I do not remember when we adjourned. Must have been about 10. No, I'm kidding, probably about 7:30.
Thank you, Mary. Melissa would have been very proud of that.
I'm glad.
Yeah. All right, item 5B tonight, council member comments. Any council member comments tonight? This is open mic time.
I messed up on I was not reading correctly on my report, because one page shows going straight into library, but we did start the evening off with a waste management discussion from Robin Friedman, so, which was very informative and interesting discussion.
Thanks for remembering that. And if residents have questions about waste management service, they can talk with the Public Works Department or the mayor's office, or probably Gary. No, I'm thinking, or their council member.
That's one more thing.
But start with staff. We got some answers for you.
I have one more thing.
Yes, Mary.
I just want to shout out since we don't have a full council meeting next week, next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the downtown Mount Vernon Street Fair for the Tulip Festival. I just wanted everybody to remember and come out and have a good time and see a lot of great crafts and eat some good food down there and listen to some music and hopefully pray, please, for nice weather.
All right. Yes, Councilmember Bross.
I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to invite Mount Vernon and other Skagit County residents to our 69th annual Kiwanis Salmon Barbecue happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 11 to 7 p.m. for the rest of April. That's at Hillcrest Lodge. Price has been the same for 3 years in a row, and I hear the fish is better than ever, so I hope you guys will come do that. We raise about $125,000 a year for kids in our local community, so it's a great cause. Also, just wanted to make a shout out that tomorrow night, that same Mount Vernon Kiwanis Club is celebrating our 100th anniversary of our founding. In 1924, one of the oldest Kiwanis clubs in the world. And that's a lot. There's a lot of clubs in across the world. I'm happy to be sitting with two other members here who are also in the Mount Vernon Kiwanis Club, and a past member, Mayor Donovan, who I'm still trying to get back in the fold. But if folks want to come celebrate with us, we're cutting cake at 7 o'clock tomorrow night at Hillcrest Lodge, and we got a piece of cake for you too. So come on out and join us.
Pretty awesome. And Hillcrest Lodge, of course, turns 100 years old this year as well, so makes it extra special. So, yeah. Other council member comments? All right. Then we are going to item 5C, which is the mayor's report, which means it's time to take another look at the Library Commons construction status. You can see the inside there on the first floor, the drywall's been installed, along with the overhead mechanical, electrical, and plumbing is going in. It is really taken shape. In the next slide, we see work continuing on the kitchen, where the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough-in should be completed within the next few weeks. And then the main electrical and mechanical rooms in the next slide, just ongoing equipment installation is in progress. We're filling in the space there, which is cool. And then at the exterior, we've seen that the terracotta screening installation is nearly complete. You've seen that if you've driven by. By the way, if you're driving by, please just kind of keep driving as you go. I know it's interesting to look at, but little PSA there. And the solar PV array is more than half complete. That's on the south side of the building, and work's going on as well in the rooftop terrace area that you see on the second floor there. That the trellis is in place, and that'll be an outdoor place to read a book, have some coffee, and enjoy the sunshine, which will be a great spot. And finally, I am looking forward to another chance to have a community conversation with all of you. Mayor's Coffee is coming this Saturday. Apparently it has a new logo, which is awesome. That was designed in the library, and I think I want a t-shirt. Mayor's Coffee, Saturday, April 13th at 10:30 a.m. So that's gonna be in the existing library on Snoqualmie. But please plan on coming down and chat with me about what's going on in the city. Very interested to get and hear your questions, share ideas for how we can make our community better. These are always good chats, and the weather is supposed to be nice on Saturday. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and guarantee the weather's gonna be nice Saturday. So while you're down there, you can head downtown. The Valley Made Market is in its first week up on the Riverwalk Plaza. So you'll wanna check that out, 45 booths with artists and artisans selling all of their things. There will be live music down there, food, and a festive atmosphere, and again, sunshine. So that is your mayor's report for April 10th, 2024. Agenda item 5D is committee agenda requests. Any committee agenda requests from council tonight? We're good. Okay. On we go. Item 6 on the agenda is new business. Under new business, item A is a presentation from the Boys and Girls Club of Skagit County. Special Projects Manager Steve Sexton is going to introduce this item. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening. So this is an update on the goings-on at the Skagit County Boys and Girls clubs, and I have the pleasure of introducing President and CEO Ron McHenry. Ron brought a special guest with him, at least one special guest. So come on up, Ron, and
The whole game. Good evening, Council and Mr. Mayor. Appreciate your time tonight so we can provide you some updates about Boys and Girls Clubs and more specifically here in Mount Vernon. So we went through a change to our mission the last year that I want to highlight. Our former mission read, to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. We've had a struggle with the word enable. That's not what we really like to think that we do. We feel inspire and empower is more appropriate. And we recognize that while the intention of the word citizens means citizenship, for a large portion of the community that we serve, it wasn't as welcoming as simply stating adults in their community. So we made those changes with board governance. So in Mount Vernon, we have 4 club locations. Our Mount Vernon Clubhouse, which is the tiny decrepit white modular that next to LaVenture Middle School in the school parking lot. We have the LaVenture Club, so actually on that site we have 2 separate programs. LaVenture and Mount Baker both operate for grades 6 through 8, open Monday through Friday, and there's occasional teen nights on Friday nights to help lower the chances of additional graffiti calls. And then our Mount Vernon High School Club, which is co-located in Mount Vernon High School. So we have a dedicated modular there that we're able to run programs at. In terms of demographics overall, about 39.5% of our members countywide come from Mount Vernon. So as a community, it is by far the largest percent that we serve overall. Mount Vernon by the numbers, in 2023, we served 399 Mount Vernon students, almost 92% of which qualified for free or reduced lunch. Almost 37% came from single-parent households, and as of last Friday, and this is just killing me, we have 119 teens enrolled in our 6-week summer program, which is about 2.5 times the number that we had last year at the end of June when we started programs. So the fact that we still have 2 months of registration to go on, we're going to have to see how we are going to staff that. So a couple of stats that we're really proud of. We're not just a place for kids to get snacks and meals and some homework help. We do a lot of intentional programming based on evidence-based curriculum. So we measure against like the Healthy Youth Survey that students take in even grades starting in grade 4, because obviously, if the community's invested in us, the students in our program should be doing better than their peers in the community when it comes to prevention items. And that's what we see. So 96% of our members abstain from smoking versus 89% in Washington. This is 2023 data. We won't get 24 data until July. 100% of our members abstain from marijuana versus 90% overall in Washington. That's been really consistent for us. When legalization happened, we put a lot more effort into the topic about responsible choices, and I think that it shows in the ongoing number. Areas of growth that we see, increasing the number of students who feel strongly that they are equipped with peer-to-peer conflict resolution skills. It kind of caught us off guard, I think, this year. The high school kids actually, and the middle school kids did really great. It's the elementary kids that don't feel equipped to deal with their peers when there's conflict. So we've been trying different curriculum and activities to improve on those scores. And then overall goal setting and resilience across the board, really. And so going through activities to get kids to understand the long-term importance of planning and then overcoming the challenges and obstacles in their lives. Because it can be done. You just have to find the right supports. Some opportunities that we're really excited for. We were selected for a national social emotional development study for our middle school students. So that'll take place over the next 2 years. And we're really excited about a new 4-H integration program. Representative Carolyn Eslick, from the 39th. Was able to secure us $60,000 in a direct program appropriation from the state to be able to do this. And so the pilot will be happening at Mount Vernon, Cedar Woolley, and our Allen clubs. And then increase partnerships to reach students without having to be the primary source of engagements. We're working through some new exciting partnerships with Parks and Rec, as well as different kind of community agencies, and we're looking forward to that day very soon when we can hopefully announce some exciting news on that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Angela Freeberg. She's our Vice President of Operations for Skagit Valley. So she oversees directly the Mount Vernon Club and in total the 6 clubs in Burlington. She is in her 23rd year with Boys and Girls Clubs, all in this organization. She started as a part-time direct service staff, and now she's two rings away from my seat. So we really appreciate Angela and all she's done for our community.
Great. Well, thank you, council members. It's great to be here tonight, and I have the fun slides and get to talk about a couple of the highlights on what we're doing. And so, the first thing I want to highlight is that something that's really important to us is connecting kids with resources and with their community. And we do this in multiple ways. And so some of the pictures you'll see here is of, that first one is the Illuminite Walk. So this year we had Holly Watney with Skagit Watershed come in and teach the kids about how to do the lanterns, and they created them, and then we went as a group and we actually got to share as part of the program. And despite the rain, it was a really great experience for our kids, and just really great to see that grow, see how many people were there and participating, and the kids just really loved it. Most of them, I think all of them, had not participated in this community event before. And then the other one is our Shop with a Hero. So this is our second year being involved in the Shop with a Hero program, and we were able to provide 50 club members this year with $100 gift cards to shop with local heroes. And that's been absolutely great, and I've gotten to work with Edgar Serrano on that. And that's just a few things that we do, but we have a great volunteer base as well that comes in. So like I said, bringing things to the kids as well. So we have our domestic violence organization that comes in. The Mount Vernon Library is in our Mount Vernon locations and working with our kids. And so making sure that we are connecting them throughout the community and resources. And then something really important we do is our academic support and engagement. And when I say academic support, yes, that is homework support, but it is so much more than that. And this is something that I am really passionate about, which is why you have pictures with goggles and kind of being messy here. But we want our kids to love learning and be curious learners. And that means, yes, supporting with homework and literacy, but also infusing academics throughout what we're doing in our programs. And so pretty much no matter what you see, you're gonna see an academic, a fun learning component. So this is actually from our Harry Potter month in October. And we tied in science and different things while sticking to the Harry Potter theme. So this was potions class. And this one was just kids got to explore with a lot of different ingredients and chart reactions and that type of thing. We did the Wingardium Leviosa spell, and they learned about magnetism and got to make feathers float. So again, teaching them a scientific concept while just letting them have fun and be children through the process. Another thing that's really important that goes with this is social emotional development. As Ron talked about resiliency and something that we're working towards, kids can learn better if they have the coping skills needed. And so throughout the clubs, we work really hard to infuse social emotional learning and development with our kids. We're currently at the Mount Vernon Clubhouse for our elementary site using Second Step for after school. If you're not familiar with that program, it is used in Mount Vernon School District. It's used by the health teachers, and they use that social emotional curriculum. And we are actually looking at expanding over the next couple months that into the middle school, where they will also be utilizing the Second Step curriculum. And then I love this picture. This picture is actually from 2 weeks ago. And I wanted to touch on, Ron talked a little bit about our high school and our middle school programs, but it is just so exciting to see this growth that's happening and what is going on at our clubs within the valley. We are seeing, when we have Friday nights for middle schoolers, 50 to 60 middle schoolers on a Friday night, fully engaged, having fun. And we're just really excited about it. This photo is from a trip on March 27th to the Salish Sea School out at Washington Park in Anacortes. Carter could probably tell you much more. Don't worry, I'm not putting it on the slide. I'm just saying anything. But we really try and get the kids out to experience things, especially at the high school level, workforce development opportunities, field trip opportunities to get them to explore careers and what's going on in their local community. And so, with that, I want to talk a little bit about Youth of the Year. We do have Carter with us, and I'll introduce him here in a second. But the Youth of the Year program is Boys and Girls Club's premier leadership program, and it provides youth who are teenagers 14 and above to really develop their leadership skills, their public speaking ability, and recognizes them for their hard work and everything that they've accomplished. And so it's a really rigorous process. They go through a whole set of essay writing. They have 3 essays to write. They write a resume. They prepare a speech. They go through interviews. It's a pretty intense process, and it's really great to see the growth in the kids from when they start to the end of the process. And we have a junior Youth of the Year process as well that is not quite as intense, but kind of prepares them to go on into the Youth of the Year program later. So with that, I would like to introduce Carter. And Carter has been a club member since 6th grade. He started at Mount Baker Middle School and just wrapped up Youth of the Year in Seattle for the state competition and was absolutely amazing. I was not able to be there, but I heard it was pretty great. And he's going to share his speech with you this evening.
Hello. I have always found the Boys and Girls Club to be a positive space. It has helped me throughout my journey of life and improvement, along with many others I know. It is a place of safety and fun. It is a place of determination and perseverance. It is a place where all may stay and enjoy. My name is Carter Tillman, and this is my story. Ever since I can remember, learning has been an integral part of the Boys and Girls Club. Anything from the guest speakers to the VR programs to the field trips, the club has many offers for education. I fondly remember the ways the club has encouraged and supported my future, and the club has even inspired me to go to Skagit Valley College for Running Start and work towards an associate's degree in computer science, along with looking into health sciences. It's not just my internal health that's improved, and another thing the club has helped me with is personal improvement. And well, I've been struggling with that very thing ever since quarantine started. But the club offers many opportunities and activities to explore my identity and work towards completing myself as a person. The club has even been a key facet in pushing me towards fellowship, Bible study, and working out. I can now safely say I'm over 2 years into fellowship and Bible study, over a year into fitness, and overall a more disciplined person thanks to the club's influence along with my own perseverance. My self-improvement journey has been widespread, and the club has helped me every single step of the way. And it's not just my internal health that's improved, but also my social. Ever since I started going to the club at the age of 12, I've had way more social connections and met many, even today, that I had not previously known. And these people have helped me work through a lot of my traumas, trials, and tribulations, along with helping me find coping mechanisms. Overall, the daily empathy, sociality, and support the club offers has helped me become a better communicator and a calmer, more pleasant person to be there for myself and others. Of course, with all this, life hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows. Ever since I can remember, I have dealt with seizures about every 2 years or so, and have dealt with physical and mental underdevelopment that has been traumatic for everyone involved. This has led to my mom being understandably overprotective throughout my life, and me not being the most normal person. And having to carry this fear around only made things worse when quarantine happened. I can remember the spark that started it all with my mom taking me away from my dad's house after an especially provoking argument between them. And with us being homeless and ripped away from normality, we had to live in multiple households over this period of quarantine, along with dealing with financial and lively uncertainty. And I've had to cope with a lot of this in silence in places like the gym and in my own room, having breakdowns at times. But through all this, the club has been with me. I've been through heck and back with me having to balance choir, church, working out, working, and many more tasks at hand. But the club mentors, kids, staff, and encouragement have been an extreme facet in keeping me going. I will never forget all the sights and experiences I've had with this organization and want nothing more than to give back to the place that has never failed to make me smile and lighten up. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
And with that, if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
I just wanted to say thank you to Angela and Carter. You grab my heart. I know how much you do for children and the collaboration with school district and all those kiddos like Carter, many kiddos like you, they found the safety place to go to Boys and Girls Club and get prepared just to go about in education. You know, I really appreciated what you do, and and anything we can help, then we are here for you. Thank you very much for what you're doing, and congratulations, Carter, for what you're doing, for what you become, and you're going to be, the sky is the limit, and I can see you're going to go so far.
I'll try my best.
Okay, thank you for
Other
your time.
questions or comments?
I was curious about, your presentation was fabulous. Your speech was moving. I'm teary-eyed, so excuse me. The growth in the summer programs that you are talking about, what do you think is driving that?
We got the right people in the right seats on the bus.
Awesome.
So we had a club leader at one of the sites that was struggling, and we made a replacement. And then we actually had a really good person at the other site that found an opportunity for advancement. They were a white female, and we were able to promote one of our Hispanic males. So both of our middle school sites are run by Hispanic males, which is very rare for a Boys and Girls Club to be able to do. And I think that representation has led to the significant increase in participation, to be honest. They're excellent at what they're doing with programs. Kids vote with their feet. And so to have 50 or 60 kids show up at a teen night, we've never had numbers like that in Mount Vernon. It's pretty significant. And it's all the staff that work there.
That's fantastic. Thanks for keeping the graffiti numbers down.
Working hard at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a real, the benefit when we talk about that, of the prevention, with the outstanding work that you do, to create a sense of place, and to create those coping skills you talked about, and the connection that you talked about. And I saw when you had me out there last year at your, I'll call it woefully inadequate facility. That is a problem, and I would go as far as to say it's a dire need in our community. I hope that we can find a place where we can accommodate the growth because of the good work that you're doing. So thank you for
Appreciate that. Thank you, council. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Nice work, Carter.
Very nice.
All right, item B tonight, we have a bunch of cops in the room. And I'm not being rude when I say that, I'm calling them cops because in Mount Vernon, our Citizens on Proactive Patrol, or our COPP, our COPS program, is a volunteer program that invites our citizens to partner with our police department and to make our city a better and safer place, and they do just that. They are an amazing group, and I'm going to have Mount Vernon Police Chief Chris Kamick please introduce the COPS volunteers, the COPP volunteers who are joining us tonight. Chief.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council, for having us. I'm not sure who put me behind Carter, but hopefully inspiration just follows inspiration, because that was pretty incredible, and I was ready to reschedule for another night with him. We do want to recognize some individuals tonight. They're some of the hardest working, they're some of the most dedicated, and they are the lowest paid city workers that we have. Some could argue that they pay us to be here working, but really what they're motivated by is a strong sense of civic spirit, a really strong sense of community. They're not in it for the financial gain. They're certainly not in it for the spotlight that we're about to put them under tonight, but they're really about making Mount Vernon that desirable place to live here, to work here, to recreate here, and what really brings people to Mount Vernon. The police department has had citizen volunteers for at least 4 decades. I think it was in the mid-'80s. It started with the Skagit County Retired Senior Volunteer Program, where people, seniors would enroll and then go and work in various aspects of government and nonprofits. And so we had the Redcoats, as we called them back then, because they wore red RSVP jackets. When they went out, they did vacation home checks. The street lights that you see in the city, when they would burn out, they all had poll numbers. We had certain volunteers that go around and track those poll numbers, let PSE know, and then they would come out and replace the lights. They worked in our property and in our records division as well. In 1995, we hosted our very first Citizens Academy program. The goal was to create an insightful look for our community in how we police this community. The program got started, and the graduates who left the first class were so enthusiastic they wanted more. The second class was equally enthusiastic and wanted more, and by the third class, our Citizens on Proactive Patrol was born. COPP members are all graduates of our 12-week Citizens Academy program. In addition, they go on and complete an additional 8 weeks of COPP training, and then they actually get paired up with another COPP member who has experience and tenure, and they actually do a field program very similar to what we do with our new officers that come out of the academy and then go into a field training program from the academic to the practical environment that's there. We ask them to commit to 8 hours a month of patrols and then a monthly training meeting. But in a minute, I'd like to share some statistics that show you how far beyond 8 hours they go. Just some of the things that you see COPP do in our community. Of course, the most prevalent is the daily patrols that they do of our neighborhoods and our business districts and our parks grounds and our playgrounds, and you name it. They also help us staff all of our special events, so your Christmas parades, your Cinco de Mayo parades. They really leverage our workforce that's there by doing traffic control, pedestrian control. We pretty much rely on them for a lot of the activities that we do. They're called out at all hours of the day and night for major crime scenes, accident scenes, fire scenes. If we need to staff something for a while, it's usually COPP who comes on site and then allows the officers to go back to other duties. They staff our front reception on weekends and holidays. We have a specific team that comes in and does kennel care, because we have animals that are sometimes there, and they come in and they feed and they water and they walk. because we're not always able to do that. We have other volunteers who come in and perform the fingerprinting service on Wednesday afternoons for people that come in and need prints for either employment, immigration, whatever it may be. They impound bicycles and found property very frequently. They've found stolen vehicles, they've interrupted burglaries in progress, they've located theft suspects as they've fled the area, and in one instance, they actually found a murder weapon. So they're very, very helpful out there in the community. I don't want to overlook the other arm of our volunteer program, which is the RSVP program that was housed under the Skagit County, dissolved under Skagit County. We kept them on board, our RSVP members, and a few years ago we decided it was more appropriate to reterm them under our brand, if you will. And so that's our MVPV, which is Mount Vernon Police Volunteers. And they're still our redcoats, if you will, because they do our vacation home checks. They do work out of our records in our property room that's there. They come in each day and do a lot of transfer of documents between the city government services so that we have that process happening. It currently consists of 6 members. Nancy Davis, who's here tonight, Donna Hoback, Beth Jones, Janan Stain Svensson, Gail Trucker, and Barb Voth. And Barb swings between COPP and RSVP, so we actually have 7 total, wears 2 hats. There are currently 35 members of our COPP group, and in a minute, if you'll allow me some extra time, we'd like to invite them up here and recognize them individually. The mayor did some certificates for them, so if that would be okay, we would appreciate that ability to do it. Just to give you an idea of what they do for your community, in the first quarter of 2024, our COPP volunteers alone completed 1,224 hours. Our MVPV volunteers, 94 hours. Total lifetime hours by the currently active members. So just the current members that you're seeing here and that are working. 38,816 hours for COPP and 6,435 for MVPV. And since inception of the COPP program and MVPV, COPP has completed 94,223 hours and MVPV 41,131 hours. They are led by a COPP captain who's here tonight, and that's Arnie Svensson. Arnie himself has contributed 4,688 hours. He runs a business here in town. He is in many nonprofit circles that you see, so where he comes up with an additional 5,000 hours a year, I'm not sure. You can ask him. We have several COPP members who have served over 20 years, and again, that's Arnie, Linda Aford, who's had 3,289 hours, and Susan Hahn, 1,445 hours. And we have several members who are over 2,000 hours, which is Bill Dehan, who's here tonight, Linda Aford, Donna Gremmer, Bev Herbst, and Glenn Davis. And in a second, I'd like to have Lieutenant Shackleton just speak real briefly about the awesome report you did, Councilmember Hudson, and took away all of our thunder on that.
Sorry, I tried to take it.
But what's unique about our volunteer program is they actually govern themselves. There's a COPP board, so there's a board chair, and then they select board members, and they come up with policies and training. They work with our staff to identify needs that we have. They help organize the training that goes on, and one of the impressive things I've always found is every night of our Citizens Academy that we host, you usually have about a half a dozen or more COPP members sitting in the back every single week that's there. And they even bring treats, so they support the new graduates that's coming. So again, they're the lowest paid, but they are the highest valued, if you will, that we have. And now I'd just like to ask Lieutenant Shackleton to speak briefly on the newest venture related to graffiti abatement that they're doing.
Thank you, Chief, Mayor, and Council. Yeah, I had a whole bunch of stuff here I was gonna say, but thank you, Councilmember Hudson, for going over all of that, so I won't do it again. But this is, our graffiti removal team is fairly new to us at the police department and to them as a team. And the reason why we're able to keep adding duties and responsibilities to our group is because of the incredible caliber of volunteer we have come in. And we trust them, and the city trusts them to go out there and do a good job. And we're so grateful for what they do. you know, like you said, almost 60 hours so far this year and over 30 different graffiti sites that they've cleaned up. So we appreciate that so much. We'd like to give them a shout out individually. 12 members of our team, Larry Clark, Glenn Davis, Linda Aford, Ron Frederick, Bev Herbst, Jeff Lewis, Chuck Royal, Stan Singer, Martin Spaney, Gail Williams, David Waterman, and Corey Klenigan. Thank you guys so much, and thank you, council, for allowing us the opportunity here to recognize them.
So if it's all right with you, Mayor, I know you did certificates for them, but since they're here tonight, if we could bring them up, and then Aaron Cohn would just, if you could come down, Aaron Cohn will read their name, and we'll just hand you a certificate to,
All right.
would that be all right?
Let's do that.
And then we can do a photo?
Okay.
Get up here.
Get up here.
It's a spotlight. Enjoy it.
You go first. You go first.
I believe in you.
We believe in you.
Get in the camera. Why don't we bring them all over here? We'll just do the certificates first. Here, why don't you guys all go over there? We'll do the picture. Hey, Alex.
All right. Just a minute.
Over here. Over here. That way he's got one place to face. And we'll do a photo.
All right. Again, thank you guys for all coming.
Certificates.
Hi.
All right,
So Mayor, we'll do the certificates if you want.
so Corey Klenigan?
Court?
Bill Dehan?
There he is.
Barb Bach? She's got two. Nancy Davis?
And you do all the
Arnie Svensson?
I like how you guys set this up.
Toby Ruxton?
This way.
Mary McRae? Glenn Davis? Linda Aford? Bev Herbst? Martin Spaney? Mr. Larry Clark? Gail Williams? Stan Singer? And Donna Gremmer. You get it right?
Oh, Colin.
Colin. I have it.
We did that on purpose.
He shakes hand. I'll get it to him later, guys. I'll get it to him. I have it. I'll get it to you.
And that's Colin. All right, why don't you slide over, let's get a picture with council and then get out of there.
Oh, good.
Slide over, slide over, slide over. They can stand.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys.
Or do you want to go talk?
No, you scoot over, it's okay. I put Iris up here too, because she's short. She's my short friend.
Stand with us.
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, I just real quickly wanted to brag about this group for a couple of other reasons. As somebody who participates with the Citizens Academy, it's been a treat to, well, one, the snacks they bring, but also the information that is shared there. And one of the interesting points that was pointed out was that we in Mount Vernon have, if not the largest, one of the largest volunteer groups in the state of Washington. And so, you know, a lot of times you don't hear about the great efforts, the great news that goes on in our community. And I think that this group is certainly one of the examples of a great group that we have here in our community that helps out. And I'm really proud of all of them that showed tonight and all of them that do participate. So thank you very much, Chief.
That's nice.
Councilmember Tercero speaks for all of us, I think. Thank you for that. Thank you all again. Item 6C tonight feels anticlimactic, but the project acceptance of the work performed for the 2023 paving project. And I believe Public Works Director Chris Phillips has this item.
I will be very brief. Good evening, council and mayor. Staff recommends council authorize the mayor to accept the work completed by Carlacuccio Brothers Incorporated on the 2023 paving project. Of note here, the work came in approximately $100,000 less. How about that? Than what was originally projected. Staff recommends accepting the work performed by Carlacuccio Brothers Incorporated for the 2023 paving project in the amount of $1,667,747.06.
Questions for Chris? Chris, one of these projects was the smoothing out of 18th coming down the hill,
Correct.
right?
Yes, 18th
Fantastic
Street.
project. Worth
Thanks.
every penny, and I know that was just part of a major project. So, council, motion to approve, accept the work that was done in 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Andrew, a second by Edis. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. All right, motion
Thank
passes.
you.
Thank you, Chris. Item D tonight is the approval of an agreement with Skagit Fisheries Enhancement Group for the funding of the Carpenter Creek Hickox Road Fish Passage Improvement Project. Does this have an acronym, maybe, something? The CCHRFPIP, that doesn't work either. Blaine Chesterfield's here for this item. Hi, Blaine.
Thank you, Mayor Donovan, City Council. Yeah, that's a tongue twister, isn't it?
A little bit.
Some of the things that we do in surface water tend to be tongue twisters, like National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit. But, so staff is recommending that the council authorize the mayor to enter into a sub-award agreement with the Skagit Fisheries Enhancement Group, which will provide funding from the Recreation and Conservation Office grant agreement for engineering and design services for the Carpenter Creek Hickox Road Fish Passage Improvement Project. As the council knows, David Evans and Associates is currently working on the culvert. The culvert is located by the Silver Arrow Archery Range on East Hickox Road, near the Martin Marietta pit. And this culvert is not fish passable. As it stands right now, it limits the amount of fish that can get through. A very small percentage of fish can get through that culvert. So they are working on the initial scope, which is to get a 30% design complete, which will allow us to apply for additional resources with the state to further advance that project. So David Evans is working on that. Skagit Fisheries will reimburse the city $173,500, and the city will need to pay about $15,000 out of the surface water utility in order to complete this. So with that being said, staff is requesting a motion from the council to authorize the mayor to enter into a sub-award agreement with Skagit Fisheries Enhancement Group.
Questions for Blaine? Yes.
No question per se, but I do want to commend Blaine and the city and their partner, the Skagit Fisheries Enhancement Group, for this excellent work. Going out and finding these barriers. The city's been super proactive on these fish barriers, and sort of the major ones are in process of working on. There'll be some more to do, but thank you for all the work at that. And with that, unless there were questions, I'd certainly make a motion to authorize approval of the sub-award agreement with Skagit Fisheries Enhancement Group.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Brocksmith, a second by Councilmember Molinar. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. All right,
Thank you.
motion passes. Thank you, Blaine. The last item of new business on tonight's agenda is item 6E. It's a proposed ordinance that would update the City of Mount Vernon's municipal code, and City Attorney Kevin Rogerson is going to walk us through this one.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of City Council, before you is a proposed ordinance, which would be number 3889, if adopted, would change the Mount Vernon Municipal Code related to the commissioning authority to allow the enforcement of your municipal code. I'll probably apologize in advance. My memo is probably way more detailed than it needs to be. I just, as your city attorney, always found it fascinating to go through the legal history of how Mount Vernon's powers originate, but I'll make a shorter summary than that's in the memo. Mount Vernon is a political subdivision of the state of Washington, and the powers that are granted to you are granted through state statute. Back in the late 60s, the state adopted a statute codified under Title 35A, and it's called a code city. It recognized that many cities want to have the powers similar to what first-class cities had. Your first-class cities back then were cities like Tacoma and Seattle, who had the greatest powers in the state of Washington. Other cities wanted the same or similar powers to affect local government and assist the public safety, health, and welfare of your citizens. So we are codified under 35A, which grants us the same equal amount of powers as any city granted in the state of Washington. These are tremendous local powers of broad authority. One of those powers is you get to adopt a municipal code that through your lawmaking authority allows you to establish and enforce regulations with a police force that you commission and a prosecution and a municipal court to adjudicate crimes and civil infractions. In Mount Vernon, we are a non-charter strong mayor council plan of government, which means that similar but not identical to the federal system, you have a strong executive, a strong legislative. The judicial is a lot different, but you do have a judicial branch. Under your strong mayor council form of government, it is clear under state law that all laws and ordinances are faithfully enforced through the powers of the office of the mayor. This proposed ordinance makes findings regarding the mayor's administrative powers, reestablishes and reaffirms the city's code through the proposed amendments that the office of the mayor does have that authority necessarily to appoint and commission city officials, including your parking official, to write parking tickets. You'll see in the proposed ordinance, the additional changes are underscored and in red font.
All right, do we have questions for Kevin? Council, this would be a motion to approve ordinance 3889.
I'll move to approve ordinance 3889.
Second.
Motion by Mary and a second by Navor. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no.
Thank you.
All right, the motion passes. Kevin, thank you. Always learn something new when Kevin's in there. That is the end of our council agenda for April 10th, 2024. For item 7, I'll ask our city attorney, Kevin, since he's right there, if there's a need for executive session.
No.
And with that, the City of Mount Vernon City Council meeting for Wednesday, April 10th, 2024 will adjourn at 8:05 p.m.
Thank you.